welcome to W.M.S.T episode number 25. We've got a very short crew tonight, but it's going to be a really fun episode. We're going to talk Fight for the Fallen, Extreme Rules, and everything San Diego Comic Con related. So let's introduce you to the cast tonight. We've got the ladies' man, Father Suplex himself, Sean. What up, Sean?
Oh, hello.
What up? It's been a while.
It has been.
Yeah. And we've got the man with no gimmicks, Cam.
Can I borrow somebody's air conditioner?
You can share mine if you're in Chicago. Yeah, and as
I
always,
just need another one.
all right, sounds good. We'll chip in. We'll talk about that after the episode ends. And as always, I'm your host, Syed. And let's get started with this week's episode. First thing on the topics list, we've got Extreme Rules. Now, I personally wasn't able to catch too much of the show, but Cam here was able to see the whole show. So let's get Cam's opinion on Extreme Rules that happened last Sunday. So Cam, what were your thoughts on the event and which match stood out to you the most?
I actually thought that Extreme Rules was not a bad show. For a show that I was thinking that the show was going to be a sleeper show. It's like, kind of like Stomach. Not that many people are hyped about it yet. It might be one of the better shows of the year. And it was one of the better shows of the year. The Reigns Taker tag opener wasn't bad. They had great tag matches. My match of the night was the Strowman and Lashley Last Man Standing match. Seriously, that was a really fun match. The main event wasn't too bad also, but it's all going to be overshadowed because of Lesnar cashing in the briefcase. In my opinion, I actually preferred this show over Fight for the Fallen, which I'll get to in a moment, but I actually really enjoyed this show. Probably one of my favorite shows of the year besides the Rumble, the Sleeper that was Fastlane, Mania, and maybe Stomping Grounds. I mean, they've had pretty solid pay-per-views this year.
Yeah, man, no cap, honestly. And which match stood out to you the most? I kind of know which one you might pick, but go ahead.
I already said it was the Last Man Standing match.
Oh, really? The Last Man Standing match? Okay, then I'll pick a different match. The match that I watched, that's like the only match I watched from the show, was the Money in the Bank cash in the main event. I actually saw the Tornado tag match. And now that I say it, I just realized it wasn't even a Tornado tag match. It was more of just like a tag team match with Extreme Rules. And it was actually a pretty fun match. There were some really good moments. Although it was kind of a weird match in a way. Like some of the spots were really threw me off, like the kendo stick spots, the table spot, and the spot where Lacey Evans and Baron Corbin were just beating up Seth, and I was like, wow, this is crazy. And then Baron Corbin.
Wait, how could I forget? The end of day spot. And what are you gonna do, you piece of shit?
Right. I like how
Props
they.
to Becky for taking that bump.
Yeah, I mean, she's been calling herself the man. You know, it's time to show up once in a while. You know what I'm saying? And Seth just went berserk after that, hitting 3 straight curb stomp. He turned on the unlimited finisher mode in
Everyone
2K.
press L1.
Right. Kept pressing L1 and got the W. And of course, at the end, Brock Lesnar came out, cashed in the Money in the Bank, and won. It was kind of anticlimactic. It was supposed to be kind of a shocking moment because he's been teasing us so much. I was just watching. I was like, oh, cool. I guess he finally cashed in. It's sad because usually Money in the Bank cashes are supposed to be like exciting and just like crazy. Right. We were like, okay.
Heyman actually did say, "Oh, he's cashing in tonight," but we don't know where, when.
Right. You never know with Heyman if he's giving a spoiler or is he gonna just like
he's baiting.
troll you. Right. So I mean, honestly, it was pretty. It looked from what I saw, it looked like a pretty fun show. What would you rate it, Cam?
Are we still doing the out of 10 thing?
Yeah, I think that's what we're gonna stick with.
7 or 8 out of 10.
Yeah, I'd say from the look of the show, I'd probably give it like a 7.5 or 8 out of 10. All right, and the next pay per view we had, which was the day before Extreme Rules, was Fight for the Fallen. Uh, the only match I was able to catch for that one was Cody and Dustin versus the Young Bucks, which was obviously a really awesome match. And at the end, they brought out some of the locker rooms and gave the big check uh, for the victims of gun violence in the Florida shooting. So that was a really cool moment to see, and I think that's pretty much what the show was to like, kind of like a house show that was televised to kind of bring awareness, and I think that was pretty awesome. But other than that, I thought this was kind of an unnoticeable show. It didn't have too much hype with it, but then again, they've had two shows that had so much hype with them that this one kind of felt like which I think is fine. It's not like a really big deal. Cam, what were your thoughts?
I watched the whole show from start to finish, including the buy-in. Now, for starters, I actually really like the setup for the show. How it looks, how they're in an amphitheater. In
Right.
fact, Tony Khan, the owner, said that he watched the wrestling episode of South Park, the WTF episode, and he got inspired by it and he wanted to make that the setup. Like he actually posted it on his Instagram. As for the show, I didn't really like it all that much. It was kind of one of their weaker shows. Now, what I didn't like about the show was how some of the matches went on for too long. Show went on too long and then it closed to midnight. Now, I'm glad that the main event, which actually had a 60-minute time limit, cut it short at the 30-minute mark. While many wrestlers were showcased on the show compared to the last show that they had, Fighter Fest, my main criticism was just how long the matches went. Like, not every match has to go to the 20 or 30-minute time limit. Fighter Fest, in my opinion, was actually a faster show. Then again, it had less matches. Not in conclusion, this was an off night, and that's actually not a bad thing. Not every show has to blow the last one out of the water. WWE's had off pay per views. Impact's had off pay per views. Various companies have had off pay per views. It was a serviceable show that went too long, but I do like how the show went to a good cause. There's still growing pains for this show, but other than that, it's a mediocre show.
Yeah, very true. And Sean, I know you weren't able to really catch each event, but what were your general thoughts on Extreme Rules and Fight for the Fallen?
Well, I didn't know that much about Fight for the Fallen except Jericho busted open Adam Page's eye. That's the literal only thing I heard about it. And Extreme Rules, I heard pretty good things about the Taker, Reigns, and the Shane and McIntyre match, along with Becky taking an awesome end of days finish. But not being able to watch it and just seeing the results made it pretty exciting for the future to come to both WWE and AEW. Hopefully, good things for both.
Yeah, man, very true.
Hmm.
All right. So moving on to our next topic. This was a topic that I actually had reserved for Tyler since he reminded me about it, but he's not here today, so I guess we'll just discuss it without him. Thor 4 was confirmed to be part of the Phase 4 slate, and Taika Waititi is being uh, hired to direct again, which was really good news because, of course, he was the one who was able to really revamp Thor's character and give him the boost and the respect of the MCU fans. Now, the interesting thing is he's also going to be writing the movie, So I think people are going to be really exposed to Taika's brand of humor and filmmaking even more through this movie, which I think is really exciting, and I think that's a reward for doing a good job on Thor Ragnarok. Uh, there's not much details on the movie yet, of course, but it's good to know that he's back to direct it, and of course Chris Hemsworth getting another solo MCU movie and breaking an MCU rule that you've not known for a while. You get 3 solo movies and then you're done. But I guess since it's a new phase, it's a new beginning. Uh, and also the thing is, I feel like Chris Hemsworth's Thor just got popular in a way, and he's kind of at the height of his popularity. So it's like you kind of have to take advantage of that and uh, have him be part of the franchise for longer before you give him an ending to his character like Tony Stark or Steve Rogers. So I think it's a really good move, and we'll talk a little bit more about the potential Phase 4 lineup in a bit, but good news all around. Uh, Sean, what was your thought on that news?
I think Thor 4 is a good move since how popular Ragnarok was. And, I mean, we really don't have that much to, because we don't know much about whether X-Men or Fantastic Four are coming in, and Spider-Man 3 is not going to be for a long time. So might as well put another Thor movie who's very popular. You're going to buy a lot of tickets. That'll probably lead to Guardians of the Galaxy 3, or maybe Thor 4 will be called as Guardians of the Galaxy. Who knows? I mean, it's exciting news.
Yeah, possibilities are endless. And Cam, your thoughts on Thor 4 being confirmed?
I'm glad that they're making a fourth one, but my main question is, where is it going to be in the timeline, before or after Asgardians?
Yeah, that's an interesting question. We don't really know the full Phase 4 lineup, so it's all speculation at this point, but probably after. What do you think?
I'm thinking before.
Hmm. Yeah, that should be interesting where they place it on the timeline. I think we'll know more about it once we get the full Phase 4 lineup, which hopefully happens tomorrow. It's heavily being rumored. I just hope it really happens.
I still gotta keep reminding myself that they're 5 years into the future.
Right. It's like, honestly, who even cares about the years? It's just a place on the timeline. All right, and speaking of place on the timelines, Comic Con, San Diego Comic Con is one of the biggest events for movies, TV shows, and comic fans to come together and witness some of the stuff that's going to be happening down the line when it relates to all this. And we've had some really exciting things come out of Comic Con so far. So I'm gonna be covering more of the movie side, and Cam will cover more of the WWE side and what's going on there. So It Chapter Two's trailer is something a lot of people liked, and I saw it recently, and I was blown away. It looks really creepy, and it looks like a thrill, and I cannot wait for September 6th. The final trailer I think really sold me on the movie. The one trailer that was a surprise and nobody was really expecting to see at Comic Con was Top Gun Maverick. Tom Cruise appeared, I believe, Hall H, and surprised everybody with the trailer. And it was a damn good trailer. My goodness, the shots in the trailer of the way of the flights and everything, it's absolutely amazing. The trailer just gives me all kinds of chills, and it's interesting how Top Gun Maverick is kind of a metaphor for Tom Cruise's career, who's being looked at as somebody who should probably be done by now, but is still going strong. And I think it's going to be one of the standout movies in 2020, and I really can't wait. And that music, man, is so epic. They kind of remastered the music from the '80s Top Gun movie. It sounds really awesome, and the cast looks really cool too. Like they've got John Hamm, Jennifer Connelly. Like this is going to be one of the best movies coming out in 2020. The other thing we just had a few hours ago was the Witcher trailer came out, and it looks really dope. They've really adapted more of the source material from the book rather than the video games. And I know a lot of people might not like that, but I think uh, it's better for people to understand the character when they go through the books rather than the video game. And Henry Cavill just looks like a badass as Gerald, and I would say he had a really good Comic Con, and he kind of showed up DC because they didn't show up, but Henry Cavill showed up. So I think that's some good points for him there. Finally, I want to talk about a bit of Avengers and Phase 4. Avengers game had the the footage leaked from Comic Con, and it looks pretty interesting. The game itself looks like it looks quite fun, like not quite polished, but they still have time to polish it up. But saw like the character switching kind of thing, like GTA 5, and I think that's pretty much what I expected from that, and I'm glad we're getting that. So really looking forward to that, and you guys better get it, so because we
Mm.
gotta play that game. And finally, Kevin Feige is probably gonna be at Comic Con tomorrow to reveal the Phase 4 lineup. The thing with that is we know Thor 4 is going to be part of it, but there's a lot of mystery when it comes to that Phase 4 lineup. We don't know how and which movie is going to be placed where. It's kind of like when the Phase 3 lineup was revealed. The big reveal was, of course, that Civil War was coming out in 2016, and that had one of the biggest reactions in Comic Con's history. So I mean, we'll see if they can top that. But the movies we should expect to be on there is Thor 4, like we just talked about, and Black Widow, and possibly Spider-Man. The sequel to Spider-Man: Far From Home should be on there too. I think those are the safe bets with another Avengers movie. I think those movies you can say as a safe bet. Maybe Black Panther 2, Doctor Strange 2 could also be on there, and there should be some more filled in there. So I think that pretty much sounds like the lineup with another movie or two that should be a surprise addition to the lineup. And Cam, what are your thoughts on Comic Con so far, and what has stood out to you?
The Chapter 2 trailer has actually stood out the most. Now, I actually haven't seen the It movie yet, or the first 2017 one, but I might plan on that might change when Chapter 2 starts coming out. There's a Rick and Morty season 4 clip that came out. There's going to be an announcement for Steven Universe the movie. And like you mentioned, there's WWE stuff there. It's mainly just them releasing the new action figures. And some wrestlers have been making appearances, like 24/7 champion R-Truth has been making appearances, Drake Maverick. He even had an IGN interview where the Hurricane making a cameo and he tried to roll him up. But thankfully, Truth is still champion. Mainly, that's about it from me looking at Comic Con. Like, I usually don't really pay attention to it all that much.
Yeah, I think it's one of those things that's becoming more popular because more TV shows and movies are there to promote their upcoming projects. And Sean, did you have any thoughts on Comic Con?
I didn't even see anything about it.
Yeah, that's okay though. But yeah,
What's
you
a
Busy.
should.
Comic Con?
I've been busy.
Yeah, but you should definitely check out some of the trailers.
Hey everybody, I hope you enjoyed that episode. If you liked it, please like, share, and subscribe. And click the channel for more videos and see our recent uploads and our interviews with guys like at Jordan Jomo from Instagram and the Wrestling Classic. Again, thank you for your support, and we'll keep on delivering outstanding content for you all. Thank you.